Hey, what's going on, everybody's Afro Think Tank. I need y'all to listen to this. I don't know what they teaching these white people in these schools. Listen to this white guy. Listen. You want to see some delusion? These white people believe this shit. They really believe this shit. And it's sad that they believe it because none of it's true. Like, none of it. And it's like, and they confident about it. But it's like they believe it. But if you look at them while they saying it, it's like they trying to convince themselves that it's true. It's like, do you really believe it? Or are you saying it and trying to manifest that shit? Like, it's going to be amazing what you're about to hear. This white man take credit for. I mean, their ancestor did them wrong. Can you imagine thinking these great people that did all this shit and then you come to find out that none of that shit true? I mean, think about it. We was told we ain't never do shit, right? And then we found out through our effort and efforts of good humans, right, that all of a sudden, all this shit, we did all this shit. And we like, well, goddamn, I'm goddamn proud. Goddamn shit, yeah, right? But if you think you did all this shit, right, and that was your point of pride and how you thought and justified, and that's how you came up with your life views, and you found out you ain't do none of that shit, how you process that shit? You talking about deflationary. Good God. And how do you let it go? How do you accept that you didn't do none of that shit? I don't think they want to do it. There's some serious cognitive issues going on in white America and white Europe too. Like, I'm talking, this is some racial wide fucking psychosis going on. All right. And you're going to see it all in this one video. Anyway, I'm going to need y'all to tell me exactly what y'all think in this comment. This is going to be entertaining. All right. Anyway, that's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
So you have an air conditioning unit. There are two parts of it. There's the part that takes in hot air from your home, from the inside, exchanges it for cold air. And there's a part outside that expels the hot air into the environment. So if you watch today's episode of The China Show on YouTube, the first thing they show, and they show it, is a hospital. People, an entry room full of people, full of patients. And these doctors are going in and out of their offices, which are air conditioned. And the parts of the air conditioning that give off the heat are in the waiting room blowing on the patients. If you're Chinese and you're in that bubble over in China created by your ridiculous party, you need to understand that nobody in the world does that. When an electric car gets in a wreck and people rush out and cover up the car and take off the badge so that nobody knows what the car is, which is what they also talk about in that episode today, nobody in the world does that. Nobody does that for Tesla. And I want you to understand, these people who run around who talk about the great age of Chinese civilization, it's true. Blowing smoke up your ass and talk about how horrible and stupid we Europeans are and our civilization is brand new. That's true for most of Europe, but for my European ancestors, we were civilized before you were. We're the Minoans from Crete. You might call us the island Greeks. The mainland Greeks have more of a component from the Balkan Peninsula. We're the island Greeks. And we're not just the Greeks. We're also the Romans, because we're also in central Italy, except for Tuscany, which is northern Italian. And we have northerners living in Tuscany even back in the Iron Age. We live on the islands off the coast of Turkey. We live in the city of Miletus, which no longer exists. And now we found out that we were the Carthaginians in North Africa. The DNA came out on them. That was a shock. I never saw that coming from a mile away. So I have a book here called Hippotenester by Douglas Frame. The whole thing is talking about where Homer lived, where the Iliad and the Odyssey were first heard. And it's Miletus. First philosophers, first historians, the first log codes on Crete. We're old. Now, our people who lived in Carthage are actually from Lebanon, from a city called Tyre. And they spoke a Semitic language that's actually very closely related to Hebrew. Specifically, those people, those island Greeks who have a Semitic culture, they are called Philistines. And they are in the Bible, and we are in the Bible. We're in chapter 20 and chapter 26. When Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob of Genesis, when Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are in the promised land, we're already there. We're going to go with chapter 26, verse 26 through 31. And Abimelech and Ahuzat, his companion, this is us, and Phicol, the commander of his army, went to Isaac from Gerar. Now, ficus in Latin means fig. And if you look on Minoan Crete, you see that figs were rewards to victorious athletes. So you're given awards for victory, and we're wrestling and we're boxing. What does that get you ready for? Get you ready for combat. So how interesting that we have a commander here who has a name that sounds an awful lot like the Latin for fig. And Isaac said to them, "Why have you come to me, since you hated me and sent me away from you?" Well, he started it. And they said, "We have seen that Yahweh has been with you. And we say, let there be an oath between us and you, and let us make a covenant with you, that you won't do bad toward us, as we haven't touched you, and as we've done only good toward you, and sent you away in peace." Whereas they could have done some damage to him justifiably. "You are now blessed by Yahweh." We made a feast with them, and they ate and drank. And they got up early in the morning and swore, each man to his brother, and Isaac sent them away, and they went from him in peace. Before they met Abraham. This is the Bible with sources revealed by Richard Elliott Friedman, translation. So they make a covenant with Yahweh. They make a covenant with us. Do they make a covenant with anybody else in the world? No. We're kind of a big deal. I have very high standards. If you want to understand my race, read the Odyssey. Read the Iliad too, but the Odyssey. This is us. This is the beginning. "Sing to me of the man, Muse, the man of twists and turns, driven time and again off course. Once he had plundered the hallowed heights of Troy. Many cities of men he saw and learned their minds. Many pains he suffered, heartsick on the open sea, fighting to save his life and bring his comrades home. But he could not save them from a disaster. Hard as he strove, the recklessness of their own ways destroyed them all. The blind fools, they devoured the cattle of the sun, and the sun god wiped from sight the day of their return." Now you can imagine, we're the Greeks, we're the Romans, we're the Carthaginians, we're also the gangsters. If you watch The Godfather, that's us too. My grandfather was a hitman. He's the real John Wick. You know how John Wick went to war with the High Table? He went to war with the 5 families of New York. He lost. Did you see Blade Runner? At the end of the movie when Roy Batty dies, the way he goes down. My grandfather went down in a duel with another hitman, and he lost. And that's how he went down, with that kind of honor. I have very high standards. If you're going to run around talking shit about my country and talking shit about my civilization, you better bring it. And you haven't brought it. So I call us the children of Proteus because we're shapeshifters. I mean, we're gangsters, we're Minoans on Crete, we're Romans, we are the best of the Greeks, we're the Carthaginians. How do you do that? We do it because we're basically, I consider us to be a race of priests and psychologists. So we're the Romans who built the Roman Catholic Church as well as the Roman Empire, the longest lived institution in the history of the world. We know people very well. So here's Proteus from Book 4 of the Iliad. "At high noon, the old man emerged from the waves and found his fat-fed seals and made his rounds, counting them off, counting us the first 4. So he counts his seals like people count their sheep. But he had no inkling of all the fraud afoot. Then down he lay and swept. But we, with a battle cry, we rushed him, flung our arms around him. He'd lost nothing, the old rascal, none of his cunning, quick techniques. First he shifted into a great bearded lion, then a serpent, a panther, a ramping wild boar, a torrent of water, a tree with soaring branch tops. But we held on for dear life, braving it out, until at last that quick change artist, the old wizard, began to weary of all this and burst out into rapid-fire questions. Which god, Menelaus, conspired with you to trap me in ambush? His daughter did. sees me against my will. What on earth do you want? It even gets our attitude right. We can be kind of gruff. You know, old man, I countered now. Why put me off with questions? Here I am cooped up on an island far too long, with no way out of it, none that I can find, while my spirit ebbs away. But you tell me, you immortals know it all. Which one of you blocks my way here, keeps me from my voyage? How can I cross the swarming sea and reach home at last? We've been at home with the gods for millennia. It's not a coincidence that God chose us to build his church. This goes through Isaiah, goes through the book of John. I'm not going to go through that. Gospel of John. How wrong you were, the seer shot back at once. You should have offered Zeus and the other gods a handsome sacrifice, then embarked, if you ever hoped for a rapid journey home across the wine-dark sea. It's not your destiny yet to see your loved ones. Reach your own grand house, your native land at last. Not till you sail back through Egyptian waters, the great Nile swelled by the rains of Zeus, and make a splendid rite to the deathless gods who rule the vaulting skies. Then, only then, will the gods grant you the voyage you desire. Zeus ruled Egypt. Well, they called him Ammon. But as far as the Greeks were concerned, as far as we were concerned, it was the same god. Those of you who want to talk shit about Western civilization, who are Westerners, trying to make us feel guilty, trying to make us look stupid, blaming us for all the problems, and you Chinese who live in your bubble, who've been convinced that we're horrible people out to get you, time to wake up.
Wait. Before you go, for all my subscribers and philanthropists out there, I'm building a solar power community water bowl system in Nigeria. It's going to cost between $5,000 and $6,000. I'm trying to raise money. If you want to participate and help me build this solar power water system, please donate to the Cash App and put solar water in the notes. Solar water in the notes. I'll put PayPal, Stripe, and Zelle. Anyway, thank you. That's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out. Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.